The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Friday, the 29th day of April, 2022. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. I'm Jamal Hartman. Well, Sherry ditched me today. Sencha ditched me today. Larry ditched me today. Phil ditched me today. Liana, you get the point. You get the point. So it's just me, but it's all good. I'm a hold my own. My feelings aren't hurt. But that means it's the minister, former minister, Renee Ming, and myself, one-on-one, coming up just for you. So greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today. As I just mentioned, we welcome the former Minister of National Security, Renee Ming, onto the show. Get your questions ready. The Daily Play, we're going to play it with you. The Daily Play is going to be the feud. So we're going to do a giveaway, but we're playing the feud. So it's going to be a fun show. And before we get serious, before we get into everything that is happening in the political side with the former minister, Renee Ming, and what's going on, how she plans to make an impact from the backbench. I realize on this show, whether it's news or conversation, so often we are speaking about serious things. We're speaking about serious things where sometimes it's not good. It can be outright deflating. So the question of the morning, it's not even a question. It's really like, just share something good that you've experienced so far this year. This is our final episode of April of 2022. Next week, we're celebrating 2-year anniversary. And if you haven't already, like I said already this week, we have some big announcements next week, some announcements that may make you very happy. So you don't want to miss next week's 2-year anniversary episode. It's going to be special. So make sure you subscribe to the website. If you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And a big shout out to those on BCG Radio. Keep subscribing to the radio station. We know a lot of people are going back to work. So that's the way that you can listen to the show. Another thing, this is a first. We didn't wait to the anniversary to tell you this, but we got cleared to air this show on LinkedIn last year. This morning's episode is the first time the Daily Hour is live on LinkedIn. So if you're on LinkedIn, you can go over there, you can add us, let us know, hey, how you feel on seeing us on LinkedIn. Monica Dunstan says, morning, we didn't ditch you today. I appreciate you, see. Sanch sending some love? No, Sancha's a bit sick, folks. She's a bit sick, but she will be back. All of my people. I always tell you, folks need rest. This is a lot of work, despite what people may think. So thank you, Auntie Karen. We are here with you, Jamel. Thank you, Traveling Trotty, and good morning. Happy Friday to all of you. So let's start. As I said, I want to ask, share something good that you've experienced so far this year. We're now 4 months done, pretty much. April 29th today. I'll go first. Something good, obviously, starting the year on January 6th with the loss of my mom. And, life, some things in life we can't control, but there have been some good things this year. There have been many good things. I have been able to travel to Bermuda to experience the USA track and field event. Is something good that I've experienced. And it's not about me, but it was seeing the amount of locals there supporting a global event. So that's something good that I've experienced so far this year. What have you experienced? Name something good you've experienced. Don't forget, we will have the former minister, Renee Ming, coming up. I'm looking forward to this. I really am. We we have a lot of questions. And the former minister, Renee Ming, is not one to skirt questions. She's not one to, um, leave anything on the table. So stick around for that and make sure you share this conversation. Make sure you let people know that the former minister, Renee Ming, is in his house. So talk to me, folks. Share something good that you've you know what else is good that I've experienced? I've met so many of you in person and prove that I'm not as short as Leanna and Sherry and even Sencha may have you believe. How's that? That's another thing. I met Aunt Karen in person. I actually had lunch with Traveling Trotty. I've met some of you. So come on now. Come on. Oh, look at Sencha. It's gonna make a brother cry. She said, I'm getting choked up. Hold on, sorry. Hold on. Sorry. She says, being able to be a part of the TDH family. And honestly, that is something I cherish and appreciate, especially since it took so long to convince her, right, folks? But no, having Sencha and with all the stuff that she adds backstage with the rest of the team, we are really excited and happy to have Sencha as a part of the team. Nana Pamela Wade says, a wonderful trip to Egypt in January. I love it. Travel, travel, travel. I haven't been able to travel as much. Obviously, many people haven't over the last few years, but it's nothing like traveling, experiencing different places, different people, different groups, languages, foods, so much more to travel, as people like Traveling Charlie will tell you. Karen Simmons says, I've experienced the USATF, Good Friday events and sports day at CBA when my son Jelani won long jump. Congratulations to Jelani on the long jump. Congratulations. This is huge. Look, folks, this is what this show is all about. I am so excited, so happy to hear about this. And I look forward to seeing Jelani in the Carifta Games soon, and then the Olympics after that. This is the support we need to give our young people. This is the support we need to give our young people. Christine Pierman says, spending a month in Turkey and spending a long weekend in a cave suite hotel. This is a great experience. Talk to us about that. Do you have any pictures? I love that. This sounds great, Christine Pierman. We've got John Huff. He's been a guest on the show. Congrats to the Jamal Hartman and the Daily Hour team on today's inaugural LinkedIn live broadcast. Another Bermuda first. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And like I said, folks, today's episode is the first that we've aired on LinkedIn. And I'm very happy about that. We did hold off. We were going to wait to the anniversary to do it, but we said, you know what, let's give it a go today. We have the minister, former minister Renee Ming on. So I am happy and excited that we are on LinkedIn to, share our amazing conversations. Angeline Butler says, yes, myself and 10 others traveled to Egypt with Nana Pam. Nana Pam, why didn't I get the invite? Traveling Charlie, you got the invite? So that was an awesome experience. That's awesome. I love that we're going further. When I was growing up, my Nana, she went to many destinations she was traveling to Jerusalem. She traveled so far. But even growing up, the only places we went were the US East Coast or maybe a Caribbean cruise. We had family in England, so we went to England, but never really traveled to different continents outside of that until I was an adult. So it's amazing to see people getting there. And I wonder if people are taking their children to these places now rather than just the old-fashioned Disney ones. Traveling Trotty says, having the opportunity to participate in a women's academy. And yes, Traveling Trotty, I follow you on LinkedIn. You've done some amazing things this year. And I really hope that other says, Adeline Stevenson Swan. Having a little, there we go. The experience of receiving COVID-19/coronavirus and enjoying being in bed and at home and everything, we are given thanks. Awesome. And you went on a vacation earlier this year as well, Adeline Stevenson Swan. Kiara Sumner says, starting a business with my daughter. Best experience ever. And congratulations. I think the business, I think I follow on Facebook, is called Nyla Nailed It. Congratulations, Kiara. I wonder if you and Nyla would love to come on the Daily Hour to speak to the audience about your amazing business that you have started. Traveling Trotty, I provided them with tips for Egypt. See, look at that. I love it. Everybody working together. Rick Olson says, my son had learning issues which couldn't be addressed in Bermuda, is going to a top university next year after 5 years of boarding school that specializes in dyslexia. Congratulations to you and your family, Rick Olson. Seriously, resources, making sure your children succeed. That's parenting 101. Congratulations to your son, yourself, and your entire family. We're talking good news, folks. Share something good that you've experienced so far this year. Marcia, Robin, Patrice Bradshaw, she said, getting to see my sister Sherry when she came to visit in February and watching my son growing up as he heads to middle school. I think that's Sherry, our sister on the show, folks. I think that's her sister. Sherry, she's claiming you. She's claiming you in public. I don't know, girl. She's claiming you. Laverne Talker says, being able to tune in with the TDH family and being educated on so many topics. Thank you so much. Thank you for your support. We don't take it for granted. Thank you, Laverne Talker. And David Michael R. Wilson says, May starts a new chapter for me. Can't leak too much at the moment, but this year has continued to be better and newer experience all around. Be a better and newer experience all around. Congratulations to you, David Michael R. Wilson, and hopefully you can leak more so that we can celebrate your achievements with you. Hedley and Stevenson Swan says, we went on a cruise for Bruce's 36th birthday in February. Stopping in Tortola was definitely our highlight. We loved it. Well, speaking of Tortola, I know we're speaking about good things, but did you all see what I saw overnight? Did you read what I read? Well, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, especially since we're having a good conversation, but I read in the Miami Herald that their premier, well, you know, I'll just tell you, go to the Miami Herald because we're talking about good stuff. But it wasn't our premier, as in David Burke. I mean, yeah, but there's some things going on there. You know, I don't know if you remember what happened to reggae singer Buju Banton, but yeah, it was a little Buju Banton situation. So yeah. Carla John says, I took a social media slowdown for a few months. It was very relaxing. It's necessary, Carla. It's necessary. I mean, obviously, people have noticed I am not as active on Facebook. I'm going to be honest with you, and I'll be very honest with you about that. Facebook memories make me emotional. And, you know, even just realizing a couple of days ago, 4 years ago, I was in New Orleans for one of my uncle's birthdays, and pictures of my mother showed up, right? So I get it. My own social media hiatus is really just avoiding, you know, seeing things. But this is some good stuff. I just read it. Yes, Jamel, BVI Premier. Yeah, I'm not sharing the news, folks. But we're talking good news. Final question before we go to the news break and bring the former minister Renee Ming on. Here's what I want to ask the audience. So obviously our young ladies lost 5-0 to the Dominican Republic. So they lost 7-0 to Jamaica, if I remember correctly, 5-0 to Canada, and 5-0 to the Dominican Republic, finishing at the bottom of their group at the CONCACAF World Championships under 17. What I would love the audience to do, and this is how we operate on the daily hour, right? What I would love all of us to do is send some encouraging words to those young ladies who represented Bermuda in the under 17 championships. They may have not scored one goal and they may not have won one game, but this is just the beginning. Please send some encouraging words to the young ladies of the Bermuda under 17 national football team. Please, let's show them some love. I will say this much. I'll get started. Keep going. I grew up at Noel Village Community Club, and when we were Noel Village kids, we lost 15-0. We lost 16-0. It was bad. But by the time I retired, I retired as a teenager. When I retired, we had won every trophy there was to win as youngsters. So I will tell you, keep going. These experiences should inspire you to get stronger, become better, develop your skills. Don't hold your head. Like, representing your country is an honor. Keep going. Michelle White says, I consider TDH to be my sibling. Yes, family, having taken the leap as a business owner on the cusp of COVID, also in February 2020, looking forward to what 2022 has to offer. Some advice for the young ladies. Karen Simmons says, well done, under 17 women's national football team. Congrats to my niece Kidel on representing her country. Traveling Trotty says, keep your head up. We are proud of you. Learn from your experiences and apply them going forward. Michelle White says, congratulations to Bermuda's ladies team. There is no other way but up. No other way to go but up. Folks, this is encouraging information, and we will do our part to get some of these comments to these young ladies. They represented Bermuda and deserve to be applauded. We can get better. We can get better. We must take the lessons that we've learned and use it to become better. Sam Cat Play says, this is not the end all be all. This is just the beginning. Strive to do your best, grow through the process, and you will succeed. Well done, girls. Shawnette Bell says, don't give up. There's always another time to show up and show out. Keep your head up. And we're going to stop right there. We're going to go to the news break, and then we're going to have the former minister, Renee Ming, on the show. I'm excited. You all know I'm very critical of politicians and politics, especially the government. But you always hear a couple names that I always loved in cabinet. Renee Ming being one, Tanae Furbett, got a lot of love for people like them, even Thomas Christopher Famous. I can't say that about too many, and I'm very honest about that. I think politics is always about the people first. Unfortunately, governments don't govern like that. They govern to maintain power, and we will discuss that. Nana Pamela Wade says, congratulations, team. So look, let's go to the news break, and because I know you all can't wait to speak and engage with the former minister, Renee Ming. I don't want to hold your time up. You're probably saying, Jamal, move on, move on. Let's get to the news break, and then we'll take our first commercial break, and then bring the former minister, Renee Ming, on. Stick with me. All right, this is the Daily Hour News Break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. In the third part of our exclusive conversation with former Minister Dr. the Honorable Nelitha Butterfield, she shared whether the gun violence in our community is a government or a parenting problem. Quote, it's both, as well as the community on a whole, because the list is long. Young people have been affected in many ways, including but not limited to death in the family, losing parents at a young age, drug-addicted parents, adopted parents, and wanting to know their real parents, taking the role of raising their siblings because of no father in the household, low academics, cannot read, peer pressure, alcoholism, hereditary in some cases, incest and rape, unemployment, and a lack of opportunities. The former minister says, if we are going to see any impact in reducing gun violence or violence, we have to shift the gears and make an investment in helping our young people, men and women. And that was the former minister, Dr. the Honorable Nelitha Butterfield. Thanks to her for her contribution to the Daily Hour News Break over the last 3 days. In other news, the Bermuda Police Service has reported rather disturbing news involving visitors to the island. In the first case, on Wednesday, the 27th of April, 2022, police received a 911 call from a member of the public that two women visitors were walking along Cott Road near to Floral Lane, St. George, when a male on a dark-colored through motorcycle rode up to them and grabbed a bag from a 67-year-old, causing her to fall to the ground. Both women sustained minor injuries as they struggled with the suspect, who eventually escaped with the bag, which contained cash, credit cards, and travel documents. The male suspect, who was described as approximately 5'10" in height, wore a black long-sleeve top, dark-colored pants, and a glossy white helmet with a mirrored visor. In a second incident now, this is a different one, at approximately 1:10 p.m. on the same day in Smiths Parish, a female visitor was riding a livery cycle on South Road, Smiths, in the area of St. Mark's Church, when a black male dressed in all black, wearing a black helmet with a full-face visor, reportedly pulled alongside and grabbed her handbag containing an iPhone, cash, bank cards, and driver's licenses. The suspect then rode off along St. Mark's Road. If you have any information regarding any of these cases, please call Acting Sergeant Simon Fraser on 717-2462. You may also call 211 or the main police line number 295-0011 or Crime Stoppers hotline 800-8477. The Bermuda Police Service also shared some tips. You can go on their social media platform for tips for tourists to remain safe while in Bermuda. In today's weather, expect a high of 80 degrees and a low near 71 with showers this morning, then scattered thunderstorms developing during the afternoon hours. That's your Daily Hour News Break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Now it's time for the Day of the year. And today, folks, today is International Dance Day. Now, if you know me, well, I'm that guy that used to stand up at the bar and just that was me. So I'm not one of those folks who celebrate dance, but the art of dance is one of the earliest and longest standing forms of entertainment and community activity known to humankind. While it continues to be practiced by millions of people daily, Dance Day is a precise moment in the calendar where everyone is invited to take part in an extremely enjoyable pastime. Even those like me with two left feet, dance is one of the ultimate activities to distress, lose inhibitions, meet new people, and boost physical health. The annual tradition encapsulates people around the globe, from professional dancers to individuals that would usually stand well back. Take your passion and make it happen. This is Dance Day. All right, folks, we're dancing into the weekend with a conversation with the former minister, Renee Ming, coming up. Do not go anywhere. Here is the first commercial break.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose People's, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it People's, I call it my one-stop shop in the city. People's, we're here for you.
Hi, I'm Karen, a nurse at the old folks home. These long hours used to kill my feet until my hairdresser told me about a great place to buy a pair of clogs. Medical House. Finally, relief. They also carry uniforms in bright, bold colors. And not to mention the support stockings.
Karen, Miss Soltis bet her bet again.
Oh gosh, these days, I need all the support I can get.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dendytown Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke.
This month, John Barrett & Son bring us a premium thirst quencher from North Carolina, the Blue Ultra Purified Water. Many other bottled waters use reverse osmosis to reach an acceptable level of purity. Le Bleu uses a 5-step purification process, which includes fractional vapor compression, distillation, and ozonation, assuring purity and a unique, appealing flavor. Consumer testimony repeatedly praises the taste of Le Bleu compared to the other brands, and this, along with superior purity, makes Le Bleu a must-try. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
All righty, welcome back to the big show. I'm Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Before we bring the former minister Renee Ming in, we've got a birthday shout out in his house. We've got today is our son Jelani's 18th birthday. Karen Simmons, happy birthday to Jelani, long jump champ and birthday. Congratulations to you on your long jump once again, and may your birthday be, wishing you many more years of health and happiness. Got a few more congratulations out there going. Gailey May says you made it this far and can make it further. Great job to the young ladies in Bermuda's under-17 national team. Cordell Riley says congrats to our young ladies. We are proud of you. So look, folks, it's good. It's good. Keep it going, folks. Keep it going. All right. Without further ado, let's bring in our guest for the day. Good morning, madam. How are you?
Good morning. How are you? Good morning, Bermuda. Good morning, Daily Show listeners. How are you doing this morning?
Well, we are great. We are happy to see you. One of our favorites. Look, let's get started. Let's get into it. So, you took one of the hardest jobs, hardest ministries, I should say, especially at this time. What would you say are some of the positives from your time overseeing the Ministry of National Security?
Sure. Jamel, I actually didn't see it as being one of the hardest ministries. And I can tell you this, in your political past, sometimes you plan on what you think you will do. And I thought, if I ever became a minister, it would be home affairs, and I would deal with the issues on a localized basis. But what is funny to me is being asked to take national security. I remember feeling like, okay, but I can tell you this, it is a great ministry. within, I think, 1 month of even being there, I completely fell in love with it. It's a lot of work. I won't even in any way minimize the awesomeness of all of the teams and departments that fall under the ministry. But it is a lot of work. It keeps you extremely busy, but it's actually, it can be rewarding at the same time. And it's also one where it's constant. And we, for instance, in terms of the gang violence side of it, that is a conversation you have on a daily basis, and not so much focusing on the violence, but also looking at the preventative measures that could be in place, and then what are some of the solutions for going forward. So timing of it, COVID didn't help much, because you had so much time. You had to focus on COVID as well. But as we began to see less restrictions, and as we're moving into whatever our new normal is, hopefully we see less of that and more time to focus on the things that really need our concentration.
Indeed. Well, you mentioned the violence, and just during the news break, I just reported 2 incidents that happened with visitors to the island. The violence to many seems out of control. The first week of April, we saw 2 gun murders within the space of 48 hours. What do you believe is the solution to this antisocial behavior and crime on the island?
I don't think that is a one solution, Jamal. During my time as minister, you would have heard me advocating for our communities to get involved. And, there were often times where people would reach out to me and say, I think the Bermuda Police Service need to do this and the Bermuda Police Service need to do that. But I don't think that this is one of the situations that we would have been able to, we're not going to police our way out of this situation. And so there's interventions that need to happen at a much earlier age. I gave several statements as a minister, and we talked about a multi-ministry approach, and that was from the government side of it, actively involving more of our ministries in having the solutions, or looking to put initiatives, policies in place that would assist persons who may have been involved in a gang lifestyle. And I can't speak to one in particular that happened recently, and that was the minister responsible for labor, where he spoke in his national youth policy on how the workforce development, I believe, would conduct like applications and interviews with persons who may have had previous involvement in a gang lifestyle, because you do have to think about the sensitivities that come with that, and how do we assist these persons like that who genuinely reach out for help. Like, how do we move along? How can we assist them with employment, recognizing the challenges that may be there?
Interesting. And speaking of this, we've had Pastor Leroy Bean on the show, where he explained what he does. But what would you say in support of the job that he's doing? Because he takes so much criticism with people saying, well, every time something happens, people quickly say, well, what is he doing? What's he being paid for? What would you say in support of his position?
Sure. I think it should be less focused on, like, people will say, well, he makes X amount of dollars, but you have to look at as well as what that role was designed for, number one, and what we're actually accomplishing with the role. Pastor Bean is one who is called for many things, and I did listen to the interview when you had him on the show, Jamal, and there's so many things that we just can't say sometimes, and it's not can't because we can't, but there's a level of discretion. You're talking about people's lives, people's lifestyles, and so we have to be aware of their sensitivities. We have to make sure that we apply discretion where is needed. But Pastor Bean and his team, they are at schools on a daily basis. They, just about every incident that happens, he is called, and that call doesn't come between 9 and 5 in most cases. That call could be any hour. He sits around a table. He tries to, as a team, we used to always say, like, what else could we do? What else could we come up with? I know during my time as minister, we had what we called the King's program in our primary school, and that was to identify some of our at-risk youth at an earlier age and be able to put some interventions in place and to be able to show them alternative lifestyles, right? And as we sat around the table, I'm truly an advocate for my women, and I said, well, what about our young women who may be getting involved? And the team program director, we had some talk about it, we hashed some things out, and we were able to now incorporate a Queens program, right? Because let's not kid ourselves that it's just our males. We have our young females who are involved as well, or has some affiliation. And so we have to save them, or try our best to save them as well. One of the things that I believe from a root cause, and I know, some take this, they don't like to hear it, but we have to start talking about our parenting skills and our parenting, because when we see them, from the the gang violence reduction side, this is somebody who could be now between the ages of maybe like 15 and 18. That's too late. In my view, that's too late. And so earlier interventions, being able to identify our at-risk things, and how do we look at the government side of it, from a multi-government side of it, and say where and what ministries can be used to advocate on an earlier scale. So that was some of the conversations that we have, and I'm pretty sure that the new minister will take that forward as well, because it's I do believe that, and you spoke about what former Minister Nalitha Butterfield said, and she is correct, that it is not just a government situation to solve, it's all of us. And so when we speak, we should speak about community. And then you may notice that earlier in March and in February, you had 2 community clubs down in the eastern end of the island who had taken up the challenge and were looking to put some initiatives and things in place. And that's kind of what we need, because we have to work collectively and collaboratively if we want to see a difference in this space.
Indeed. And I just want to echo, I know for years when we were fighting to end conscription, yes, conscriptions have come up, folks. We kept saying that it's not about discipline, because you don't wait. And I hate to compare ourselves, young men, to dogs, but you don't train a dog, you train a puppy, right? So why are we waiting to 18? So I absolutely agree with you. You got to get them early, because once they're in that stage, 15 to 18, it's going to be a hard problem to solve, very hard problem to solve.
You may also recall that there was a statement that I gave earlier this year, and we spoke about having identified some 8-year-olds that were involved in antisocial behavior. There's numbers, scared members of the public, but that is our reality. And so I don't want you to be scared. It's what we're dealing with, but it's how now do we work together as a community to find solutions and assist, because there's sometimes people say I don't want to get involved and stuff like that, but I think that we have no choice but to get involved if we want to save our future and save our young people.
Yeah, and I say it all the time. I say, that lifestyle is 3 options. It only leads to 3 things: death, prison, or a lifetime of paranoia. Show me someone who's lived that life and it hasn't resulted in one of the 3. It's time to turn the heat up. We've got to go here. You're no longer in cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
There were reports that the premier told the governor to revoke your cabinetship, or you as Minister of National Security. You came out saying that you resigned. What exactly took place when it was announced? Because there's people who believe the premier, people believe you. What actually happened?
Okay. Well, let me first of all explain that when you serve in the cabinet, there's 2 things. People say, well, you serve at the will of the premier, and that would be correct. But you also serve at your own pleasure as well, right? Because if you believe that you can no longer support collective responsibility, or you may have something that goes against your moral fiber, or whatever, then you have to sit down and you have to make that decision for yourself. And so it's not just a matter of being able to, serve at the will of the premier. You have your own conscience and your own decisions that need to be made as well. My decision to resign was based on their decisions that would have had to have been made. There was lots of confusion about it. My story has never changed, and I haven't misled the public in any way. And the Premier there said I can accurately recount the things for that evening or that day, but I see some things as any a pause for now, and that I still have lots of work to do, whether it be as an active backbencher with a very vocal voice, and also as a representative in my area.
Well, I just want to touch on this a bit more because obviously we had another resignation from cabinet, the former finance minister, about a month prior to you or sometime before you. Not you weren't far behind. Obviously, there's information that can't be shared. But I think the public just wants to know what led, because there's speculation involving the former finance minister that it's about the Fairmount Southampton, and he did say in a House statement that he kind of initiated, said that he really wasn't down with that per se. What was there a breaking point that you said morally I can no longer go along with this?
I think speaking in terms of myself or in terms of the
yourself.
I think that you have to just kind of look at the things and why you started on the journey of even serving, and you are patient in some regard, and then you have to make your own personal decisions on what it is that you want to do. I have always come into politics and say that it's about the people. It will always have been, always continue to be, and I definitely have a pure passion for St. George's, but being involved in national security allowed you to take it to a very national level and even understand that, yes, I represent St. George's, but a lot of the concerns, especially even the struggles, are not unique just to my representatives, but this is across the island. And so we have to continue to, in my view, I have to continue to either advocate, support, or come up with solutions, policies, recommendations that help to make our people's lives better. I think that each and every one of us, and this is an individual thing, definitely, Jamal, where you have to ask yourself, what do you either one enjoy what you're doing, support what you're doing, or believe that you can do something else.
And folks, if you have any questions for MP Renee Ming, please just send them. I'll get through as many questions as possible. That said, what is your relationship? What's the relationship like between you and the Premier currently?
As in any rule, and Jamal, you would respect the title. He is the Premier, and so I respect that.
And we're obviously in a time where a lot of speculation about Ming and Dickinson resigned. There's going to be a leadership challenge coming up in October at the Delegates Conference. Do you expect someone to challenge David Burt as leader of the party in October? If so,
who? Nothing would surprise me at this stage, Jamal. And no one has actually revealed anything. So, why not? But I do think that, when you look at leadership challenges and you look at challenges, this is not new to politics. And, these things can sometimes be healthy because people can look and if not, we can self-reflect and say, what, maybe I haven't been doing things right, or I could do things better, or this is what people may want or not want. So the PLP has its constitutional obligations that it will do, and I'm sure that that we have delegates and they will sit down in October for the annual delegates conference, and I guess we'll see from there what or who comes through that.
And speaking of that, and like you said, it's politics, but do you believe, because many conversations we have on this show, people are often saying, well, who else are we going to turn to? And I'm like, I would not vote for a person that I don't believe can be the Premier, that can lead the country. Do you believe the PLP? I mean, you have 30 MPs. Do you think you have the depth and quality to actually have someone else take the helm if maybe he's defeated or is no longer interested in leading?
I believe that we do have the depth, Jamal. And sometimes, you have to realize that things may not necessarily be seen right in front of you, and leaders in right, and just because that person may not, somebody who may not stand out in front of you or whatever, you never know sometimes what people do behind the scenes. We don't know what their thoughts are. So I just think that people need to keep, the general focus needs to always be Bermuda and her people. And I think that's kind of what I know my constituents and people that I talk to on a regular basis, whether it be on the street who stop you, that's what they're looking for at this time. They don't, they don't like a whole pile of shenanigans, as I've been told. People want their politicians to represent them and to try and however way they can to make their life a little better and easier.
All right, let's go to the audience. We've got a lot of questions coming through. Shayna Smith asking, in the wake of your resignation, do you feel that you had the support of your other female colleagues in cabinet?
A few of my female colleagues did reach out to me at the time, and were quite saddened. And part of that too is, and there were lots of has been lots of support coming from women, especially in that I sat in a role that is traditionally not held by a woman. And so the fact that I was a woman and I undertook that role, I think that it was inspiring to some women, and also one of those ones where you can say we don't have to accept rules are just for men. Like we as women, we are active around the table, we bring lots to the table, and so we'll continue to venture into spaces that historically were not typically for women.
We've got another question. Sean Smith's asking, good morning, Renee. Any aspirations to lead the party?
Right now, I'm a bit of a pause, Mr. Smith, and I just want to kind of, obviously the beginning of April was kind of hectic. So I'm just in a bit of a pause right now. And I'm just trying to see where life takes me. I pray often. I'm very spiritual in terms of where I need to go. So I don't ever say anything's off the table, but right now, because of the previous events and the former minister, and I am not the former minister, but I do intend to help the new minister as much as I can, because I actually became really passionate about my ministry. So we'll see.
So let's go back about your ministry. And you mentioned spirituality. You're very spiritual. If I'm not mistaken, the government voted on a cannabis bill.
Mm-hmm.
Did you oppose that bill?
I took you have collective responsibility. So that kind of puts you right there in terms of things. So, and the deliberations of cabinet are confidential. So I'm unable to speak about this whether you're in or outside of cabinet, but you have collective responsibility.
All righty. We have Michelle White. She says, Miss Renee, managing such a strong ministry has no doubt been challenging at best with you making sacrifices. How has your time with this security ministry impacted you personally, your family, or has it impacted personal friendships or relationships?
Hi, Ms. White. I can definitely tell you it has an impact on your family time. When I accepted my ministry, it was as a part-time minister, but there is no such thing as a part-time minister. You will do these hours. And so for 20 months, I believe I worked probably 14 to 16 and more, sometimes hours a day. So the impact probably is, where you see it the most is probably on your family. And they're the ones who get to see you less. And that sacrifice comes there, but you do try. I tried to find ways to balance my time because I still have I have I don't have 3 children anymore, but I do have a young one who very much needs her mommy, and so I made sure to try and have time where it was uninterrupted. I could spend it with her, always trying to be home in time before she got in her bed, so that we could always have a chat about her day and making sure that I'm still accessible, because it's no way I could be accessible to all of Bermuda and not be accessible in my own home.
I want to go back because I remember there was something that happened at the St. Regis, and I think it was early on in your ministry. Your tenure as the Minister of National Security, And a lot of people felt like you were thrown under the bus by the premier. And it was to do with, if I'm not mistaken, workers working when we were supposed to be locked down or something to that effect. And there were people that said you weren't standing up to the premier, and the premier was throwing you under the bus. And people feel like he has a habit of doing that. Now, my personal feeling is, hey, maybe there's been discussions that we don't know about, and this is the way that it's going to be presented. What can you say to that incident or incidents like that during your time in cabinet?
Sure. There would be many discussions, Jamal, that you and the public would not know about. The deliberations of cabinet are not always pretty. And, that's the time for ministers to either voice concerns, share information, things like that. So there are times that the public wouldn't be aware. And then you also have to look at things, and not so much in a political vein, but just think about in terms of a marriage sometimes where you are behind the scenes, you could be fussing and fighting, but in the front, you have to have a united front for the people. It's not, I sometimes say one of these days I'm going to write my memoirs on lots of the things that happen, but there's always conversations that happen behind the back. And, I think even from my own standpoint, integrity is extremely important. And I think that when you come into politics, I don't care how many letters you're going to after your name, the one thing you have and you must keep is your integrity.
Yeah, I actually, one of the reasons I always spoke so highly of yourself and Minister Renee Furbett, and even the likes of MP Christopher Famous. And this may be just my immaturity, or maybe just something I feel because of the way I've seen politicians over the years. But one of the reasons I've had so much respect is you all had real jobs. We had Sir John Swan earlier this year, and some people took it as a dig, him saying, he was a businessman before he was a politician, or, Sir John, the premier. Why do you think so many? Because I've seen some of your colleagues who have given you love when you resigned and showed love. And for me, it's like, bruh, you're only showing this love for her because you don't have a cabinet position, right? Like, why is it that you always had this confidence about you that you're here to serve the people and don't necessarily need the paycheck? But do you understand why people think that, though?
I think that, Jamal, each person has to look at this for what it is and how it impacts them. I have a long-spanning career in finance and in a local financial institution, and one that I've worked extremely hard at. And I have amazing teams that I work with there. And, you've been able to kind of make some headway over the years. Serving as the Minister of National Security was truly a passion. It's not like I wake up every day and I used to say to myself, you have 60,000+ people today that you need to keep and ensure that they're safe. And it used to be daunting sometimes because you'd wake up and I may not have had much sleep because I would have had a cold through the night or something else that has happened. And you might, for me, that's not, I can't take a call and say, okay, that happened, and we go back to sleep. Now I wake up, I make notes, I write, I look and see how could, is there any way that we could do things better? And so I can tell you over 20 months, I probably had very minimal sleep. But I think that you come to the table, Jamal, and if you're honest and you are there and you recognize servant leadership is extremely important to me. You don't come into this for money. There's I know people say, oh, you make a hell pile of money as a minister. No, you do not. Okay. And as a part-time minister, you definitely don't. But it was never about the money. It was about what I wanted to bring to the table, how I wanted to represent my people, and the fact that I am very vocal. And I have very little fear about speaking on things that at times make us feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, I respect what you're saying. I would have to disagree. There are people who literally go into politics, win a popularity contest, use the political party because a rock can win in some of these constituencies, and it's a paycheck for them. I can name names. I'm not afraid to do that. But there are those people. I think what you're saying is you're not one of those people.
No.
Yeah.
And you're right, Jamal. I'm not saying that I can disagree with you on that. There are some where, people have questioned that. But I think that, it's, even from now in my time of being a backbencher, I'm very much minded that we need to make sure that we're representing our people.
Yeah. And speaking of the backbench, folks, if you have any more questions, I'll get through as many as possible. We are almost out of time. But how do you plan on being effective from the backbench? Because I've heard from certain backbenchers that, oh, you find out things after the fact because you're not in the cabinet, right? How can the backbench be effective if they're not part of all of the important conversations?
Sure. I think the backbench has to remember that it has a voice, right? And to say that you have, you find out things after the fact, then the backbenchers have an opportunity to lobby and say, yeah, this is how we would like to see things happen. I think, you have to remember that the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association says that even if someone may be a premier or leader of a country, that person is first among equals. And that's a very powerful statement when we think in terms of the CPA and also think in terms of our political landscape that we have in Bermuda. First among equals. We all want to see it's collective that we want it in terms of our political party or the government side of it. But each and every one, everybody who went out there, won a seat is representing, has to remember that.
Indeed. We've got some comments for you. Nikki Smith says, thank you for your service as minister. I applaud you for your continued commitment to the issues concerning Bermuda, showing the same commitment regardless of your position within the party. Nicole Walker goes on to say, I appreciate, respect, and admire Renee for all she has done and continues to do, especially in the East. As loved as she is in St. Joe, I love that she does not take her constituent support for granted. And Sam Cat Please says, thank you for your service, Senator MP Ming. Did you find it difficult in your position regarding conflicts with Mingy being on the police service, as well as the level of information access? Well, I wanted to ask you about that as well. Your husband is a police officer, all things considered. Did you find it conflicting at any point?
Nope. Jamal, we both have had jobs and roles over the years where we cannot share information. We respect that about each other, and we must make it a point to not talk about the things that we know we can't share. My husband, who probably knows me better than most people, would tell sometimes when I would come home, he'd say, Eddie, ears are red tonight. I'm not saying too much to her because probably means I've had a hard day or I've had some difficult conversations, and I just kind of come home and I say, I'm going to sit down for 5 minutes or whatever. So definitely wasn't any conflict. Maybe if my husband doesn't sit at the upper end of it, so he was probably more of just the quiet support.
Indeed. We have a late show off. The editor of the Royal Gazette, Dexter Smith. Apologies if this was mentioned earlier. 2 hours behind here in Jamaica. He didn't have to put that. But why did you resign? If asked and answered, are you prepared to return to cabinet in the future? Well, let me add to that. Would you return to cabinet in the future under the leadership of the current Premier David Burt?
I think that given the way that I was exited, that it would probably not be in the best thing. You would have to have either levels of conversation and things like that. But, I do believe that I still have stuff to offer, something to offer our country. So I would never outright say no, because for me, like I said to you, it's really, really about Bermuda and her people. But it would be at this stage, I think, the Premier has his hands full, but he has, he's selected who he would like to see there.
Alrighty. Let me just yes or no. Do you believe David Burt, the Premier of Bermuda, will still be in that position after the delegates conference in October?
I don't know, Jamal. I think that that's entirely up to the delegates, but it's also up to the people in the various constituencies, right? Because I know that some people say, well, it's up to the delegates. It's not. You have branches of the Progressive Labour Party and you have constituents, and like I don't know how all other branches work. My constituency is very vocal. And they generally, whether they're a member of a party or not, they know who members are, and they share information, and they tell us they're very direct in telling us how they feel. So it'll be interesting. And like I said, I because people have power, they should, if they need to voice their concerns.
All right. And last question before we let you go.
Sure.
Is David Burt, Premier of Bermuda, still the best person to lead the country at this time?
I don't know if I can actually answer that question, Jamal. I think that, like, if something were to happen to someone and someone else has to step into a role, we can do we really have all our eggs in one basket? If that would be the case, then we would never see ourselves venturing to a new space and even looking at new leaders.
Okay. Fair. So I said last question, but one more thing.
Sure.
Have you convinced your youngest daughter? You when people think Renee Ming, they think everything St. George's. But a lot of people who don't know, your youngest daughter is a Somerset fan. How that happened, we don't know. Have you convinced her to come home?
I may have been able to convince a lot of people of many things, but she is probably even more staunch Somerset now than she ever was, because St. George's is definitely hasn't won, so she doesn't see any possibility in that. She believes Somerset's team is stronger than she's actually like a kind of a sports fanatic. She loves looking at football and different things like that. So the answer would be I have not been able to convince her. And it's actually worse. I used to put light blue and dark blue on her when she was younger, and she used to tell me that she's like, I'm not for St. George's Day, I definitely know at the age of 14 and unable to put the light blue and dark blue on her because she's well aware of that the subtle message that I was doing. So yeah, she's a diehard Somerset supporter. If I will say this, Jamal, that you may recall 4 years ago, you attended my son's graduation with me. He came out of Keene, and he's now off doing his things. And yesterday, our daughter came here, our eldest daughter, the eldest one, and she has completed her Bachelor of Commerce at St. Mary's University. So we are extremely proud of it because it wasn't easy. And as parents, you have to kind of be there every night. You're coaching, and this particular semester was extremely hard. And my husband and I, we were trying to tell her, "Listen, girl, we're at the end. Let's kind of dig your feet in and get this done." And she did just that. So we're extremely proud of her as well.
Yeah, congratulations to her. And on a sad note, and I hate to end it this way, St. George's as a community, it's been a tough one.
Yeah.
Can you just send a message to, I'm not going to say a broken community, but a saddened community right now, and just speak to the people, not just of St. George, but people who are supporting your community with what you've been going through over the last 6 months?
Sure. It has been very difficult, Jamal, in St. George's for the past few months. And no, we are not broken. Okay? We are definitely not broken. And it's times like this when you get to see the resilience of my community. I am proud to serve in the community that I serve in, because as St. Georgians, we galvanize and we kind of support, and I've long since tried to understand certain things, because I recognize there are some things I cannot and I won't understand. But that's for me, that's how I kind of can pray my way through and be faithful. But I want to just say to my community that let's continue to galvanize, let's continue to support each other and support our young people. And I think that as a community, we will, we can come together, we can work with each other, because we know each other. Like, these are not people that we don't know, either the struggles, the challenges and things like that. And let's just see how we can help each other get through this. The last death was extremely difficult. There's one of our young men who sees me and is like, "Hi, Aunt Renee," and it hurts. It does. It hurts. It hurts as a mom and relating to what another mom is going through. But no, I will not say that we are broken. It's difficult right now, and I do believe that we will. We will galvanize. We will be resilient. St. George's always is, and we will work within our community to do what it is that we need to do, whether it be support, whether it be looking for some areas where we can improve. We've talked about doing some community things that bring us together. It's been 2 years of COVID, and it's been a lot of separation, and I think now is time for us to come together, to remember why we love and support each other, and be honest about some of the challenges that we may have, because sometimes there's somebody in our community that can offer some assistance.
Indeed. Former Minister of National Security, Renee Ming, Member of Parliament, thank you for trusting our platform to have this conversation. Please don't be a stranger. We really, as Shana Smith says, it's refreshing. We need more MPs with this level of integrity, passion for the community. Thank you. Have a wonderful day, and send love to you, the family, as well as the community.
Thank you, Jamal, and thank you to your audience. You guys are awesome. I often pipe in when I can, so.
No, we appreciate it. Chat to you soon.
All right, thank you.
All right, former Minister Renee Ming. Folks, if you enjoyed that conversation, appreciated that conversation with former National Security Minister Renee Ming, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share these kinds of conversations as well. We're going to be doing a giveaway right after this break, but also some big announcements. Again, big shout out and a lot of love to all those. This is the first day we are airing live on LinkedIn. We also, the BCG Radio app, you can download that, where a lot of people have been listening on the app lately as they've returned to work. Don't go anywhere. This is your chance to win something. And the big announcements coming up next week. We have some big announcements next week you don't want to miss. If you haven't already, go to thedailyhour.com, subscribe to our website right now, and make sure you're subscribed on YouTube as well. Stick with us. We'll be right back to wrap it up after this.
A lot happens around your home. That is why at One Communications, we have introduced affordable security and video monitoring, because everyone should be able to afford to protect their family. Anytime, from anywhere, One Home Security keeps you connected and puts security in your hands with an easy-to-use smartphone app to control everything. Home security is important to keep you and your family safe. Motion-activated cameras around your home and security monitoring within create a complete security system, providing protection both inside and outside your home. Professional monitoring means that there's someone on call with 24/7 protection to notify the authorities and help keep you and your loved ones safe. We are dedicated to whole home protection with indoor and outdoor cameras, smart door locks, motion sensors, and more, so you'll always be connected to what matters most. With professional installation, no upfront hardware fees, and low monthly rates, because keeping your family safe should be affordable for everyone. Total home video monitoring and security, there's no better way to protect your home than with One Home Security.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. Jamal Hartman. Thanks again to One Communications, People's Pharmacy, Medical House, and Lindos for ensuring we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. Also, thank you so much to former Minister of National Security, Renee Ming, for trusting our platform to engage with you all and have the conversation that we just had. We're going to do a hashtag giveaway. All right, so we'll give you the hashtag after the Daily Play. Daily Play is the feud, all right? Time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Heineken 0.0. Great taste, no alcohol. Audience, are you ready? All right, here we go. Name something people get on and off of. Name something people get on and off of. On and off of. Should I play the cherry music for you? Name something people get on and off of. That's the first question. This is your feud. Wow, number one, you must be a school teacher. Dean Fogo says a bus. That is the right answer. Quite a few said a bus, actually. We got bike. I think bike would be the most Bermudian, but Dean Fogo showed up first. All right, second question. Here we go. Name something a school bus driver would hate to see a kid throw out of a window. Name something a school bus driver would hate to see a kid throw out a window. What's with all these bus questions? Name something a school bus driver would hate to see a kid throw out of a window. What you got for me? What you got for me? Yeah, Rosalind Famous. She said it. Books. All right. Dean Fogo says insults. Someone said another kid. Another kid was actually number two. Name something that's hard to get off of your shoes. Last one. Name something that is hard to get off of your shoes. This is easy. Something that is hard to get off of your shoes. This is an easy one. Yep, Monica Dunstan. She said it. Gum. All right, folks. So here we are. The hashtag for today is going to be the Daily Hour. Hashtag the Daily Hour for a giveaway. This is your chance to win a giveaway. And don't forget, we're going to have some news, some giveaways. I can't even hint because I'm going to get in trouble if I hint to you about what's going to be coming up next week. But make sure hashtag the Daily Hour is for today's giveaway. And some of you have collected your new gift already. But hashtag the Daily, wow, you all are doing it. Hashtag Daily Hour. So just to wrap up today's show while you all are doing that, as we said at the beginning, we often have discussions. Sometimes it seems like we're covering bad news, right? And I think we have a responsibility to speak about things that can improve our community. That's our tagline, improving our community one conversation at a time. So thank you all for sharing the good you've experienced this year. Thank you for sending love to the young ladies of the under-17 football team. We will ensure we do our part to make sure that they get your kind messages. As far as former Minister Renee Ming, I appreciate her coming on, having this discussion. My hope is that we hold our politicians accountable. Politicians are there for the people. They are only going to do what they're allowed to do. So we need to do a better job of not just voting every 4 or 5 years, but showing up on their doorstep when we need them. I've continuously said that. All right, let's go to the giveaway. Let's see what we got. The Daily Hour is you all are showing up. All right, let's see. Here we go. It's draw time. Let's see who we got. Let's see. Who do we have? Who is going to be today's winner? Michelle White. All right, Michelle. I saw what you did. I think you did LinkedIn and YouTube. So Michelle White is today's winner. Folks, we've got some daily inspiration for you. Here we go. Quote, take advantage of every opportunity. Where there is none, make it for yourself. Marcus Garvey. Thanks again to our partners, Medical House One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you on Monday. I'm Jamal Hartman, my friends. Make it a safe and great weekend. And don't forget, download the BCG Radio app, subscribe to our website, and subscribe on YouTube. I'm out. Have a good one. Be safe and enjoy.